Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Derp your Hooves. So today, as you can see, we're in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, and we've picked up the Hughes 500Z just for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. Saw it in someone else's live stream, Flights by Joel. Might want to check him out. He's a really good live streamer. He also has some YouTube videos. So, I was flying along with him on one of his live streams, and he was kind of showcasing this helicopter. And I said, I really like this. And at about 7 months or so, post-release of Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, they finally kind of came out with, there's third-party developers that are coming out with aircraft that I have to say I'm pretty impressed with. So, I think this one's by, Teog's Hangar. So, we're going to give ourselves 84% fuel, although we really, look at that, we're at 98%, so 76% is fine. Load aircraft. So, this is actually a really cool helicopter, and forgive me if the audio was too wanky. I hope that you can hear me over the helicopter. So, we're going to go outside. It's going to get louder. And so here you have the helicopter. And there's no registration. Again, I'm still having some issues trying to make some custom liveries for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. It's really hit or miss. Sometimes you just can't pull the livery files out to make something. So we're just going to go with this white and yellow livery. Good enough. There's, again, no registration on this one, but I kind of like the egg yolk color scheme. So, pretty highly detailed here. If you're a fan of the 500, if you're a fan of helicopters, and I gotta say I like helicopters, watch this video and, you might want to purchase this in the marketplace. So, we're kind of doing an all-over test here. And, I won't lie, this is a tester video. So this is Big Bear scenery that I have in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 just to enhance the airport. And I brought it over just to see if it makes any difference, because aesthetics to me are something that, we're now in the year 2025 and this simulator is really good. Well, it's getting there. And, in my opinion, part of the great thing of this simulator is the really good graphics. So, I'm not going to show you how to set up key bindings, anything like that. It's already a learning curve to set up all my custom views, so I have set up some custom views, as you can see. And what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and make sure the pitot heat is on, and it's on. And that's pretty much all we're going to do for fancy airplane controls. And maybe turn the landing light on. And let's get underway. So, we're going to be going to Victorville today. Turn that off. And so let's just kind of get here on the runway. And I do have some settings turned on in this helicopter. I should have realistic damage on. So it means that Pony has to be a little more careful. Let's just go ahead and look. There's a clipboard right here where you can configure the helicopter. So, what do we got here? We have realistic damage and simulator. Well, that's what we want. And I know it says you can have a cargo pod, cargo hook. We have the bear paws. battery cart. So there's all kinds of stuff. You could even put the mirror back on, which I don't really see why that's a big deal, why we need the mirror. So we're just going to go without it. Put the clipboard back. And we got some of the most important features turned on, so let's just kind of cruise around Big Bear as we come into Victorville. Alright. Now, I don't know how long today's flight's going to be because, well, we are flying in a helicopter, and I'm going to say this. You know, I think we got about 120 knots of maximum speed here. So, I want to see how well these airports and scenery packs from 2020 carry over again, because I'll repeat myself that the aesthetics are kind of important to me. Maybe not to everybody, but I'm just saying this is coming from someone who, well, they've been flying flight simulators since they were a kid. And, well, I remember just, you know, the enjoyment of being able to fly in a flight simulator. Because, you know, how many kids actually get to hop in an airplane and fly? Well, the lake's looking pretty nice. So I'm going to go see if it threw in any other of the key features that I know that are in the 2020 pack. So, I mean, it's just my opinion. And, again, it's my opinion as a consumer, but you would figure as a consumer or as a customer that it would be pretty important to make the customers happy that are buying your product. So, hopefully you don't take this video as being negative, because I'm not trying to really be negative here. I'm just giving you my opinion. Oh, look at that. We're at about 75 knots. So I'm not seeing all of the scenery yet. It might pop up as we get closer. And I will say that Pony has definitely not figured out... Oh, it's going to show up. Has not figured out all of the settings in total. And the video settings for Flight Simulator 2024. And I will post... So the fence is showing up, but the observatory is not. So it may just be missing things from the library or not able to process it, but there should be an observatory here for the add-on scenery, which you're seeing right there in Bing Maps is just this that right there. So, okay, that doesn't load. Now, I'm going to say that this is not compatible scenery with 2024, and as I'm starting to discover, because I am aware that some of the stuff, the third-party add-ons that you can get on various websites, you know, I'm still using flightsim.to, even though there's a lot of missing files, and I actually have some of their files stashed away on my own hard drive. So even if it's taken down, I can still use it. Now, this one, actually, Big Bear is still up, L35, and I just downloaded it. The airport's probably a little nicer than what you get stock. No offense, I can't, just the stock airports, or some of the stock airports that Asobo just didn't care about. You know, just not great. And I guess today I'm also trying to illustrate that point of, well, so if you want to fly helicopters in any flight simulator, you might not be landing at an airport, number one. And so the scenery is kind of important. Now, I do like what Asobo's done with the trees. And I have noticed in certain areas we still have the same 2020 graphics where not all of the trees are nice and pretty. They're these green stone things. And in all reality, this is a simulator, so, you know, if you want to see the real thing, you're going to have to get a pilot's license. And, well, that's just the way it goes. So, this is about the next best thing. And, I mean, there's lots of stuff that I'm seeing here in 2024 that, well, they would have been add-ons in 2020, like the power lines. And so, I mean, I'm going to say this, for as much trashing of 2024 as I've done, you know, it is kind of impressive. So, I'm going to say it takes a higher-end machine to fly this with some good graphic settings, and it's going to tax a higher-end machine. Now, I'm even going to say, when you see the specs of my machine, go, oh, well, that's not higher-end. Well, I mean, it was about a year ago, and that's just something else about the computer industry and how all that works. Oh, we should probably turn our landing light off, huh? There we go. Let's turn that off. So, yeah. Well, I mean, not everybody has $2,000 to spend on a new video card every year, you know, or $5,000 to $8,000. I can only imagine how much computers are going to be one day, to play a game. So, and I understand, I completely understand that, you know, flight sims are not a low-end kind of video game. And I'm also going to put it out there that some people get really easily offended when someone calls this a video game. And unfortunately, I'm sorry to, you know, hurt anyone's feelings, but this is a video game. It's a simulation that's a video game. It's, you know, as much fun as it is, just try and remember that you're sitting behind a computer. So, I'm not calling you an armchair pilot. And, hey, I'm an armchair pilot. But, again, this is not the real thing, so. And you might say, oh, well, you know, maybe a video game has a point, like there's levels to defeat and all this other stuff, and there's a purpose to it. Well, I think the purpose of flight simming is for you to enjoy yourself, if you enjoy flying. So, with all that said, in my own defense, I mean, this really is pretty cool. Now, I mean, it's hard to believe that this level of just, I mean, look at these graphics. They're pretty amazing. I mean, we're getting closer and closer to almost like real life graphics here of what things look like. So, I'm pretty impressed. Now, I'm also going to say that I'm pretty impressed with this helicopter with its smoothness. I did buy another helicopter, and I think I showcased it in Flight Simulator 2020. And it does fly in 2024. And it actually flies better in 2024. Different helicopter, but look at my previous videos to this, and you know, and that's the MH60. That's a lot of fun to fly too, but it flies better in 2024 than 2020. So, as I'm feeling my PC become a space heater over here, even though it's liquid cooled, I guess it's kind of nice. Yeah, hopefully we don't end up having to buy another PC because we cook it. Alright, so here we are over the California high desert as we leave Big Bear, and we are in live player mode, and we are using West USA server, by the way. So we're really actually kind of going to put the sim a little bit through its paces. So I'm actually going to kind of go back to some of my original videos here, where I know that this hobby for everybody is at different levels, and some people are okay with spending lots of money, and some of us just can't afford to. And there's nothing wrong with saying you can't afford to spend all this money on a hobby, because, I mean, setting up a whole cockpit's expensive. And I think it's really cool, and if I had the funds or the space to do so, I'm pretty sure I would. You know, I mean, I won't lie. I won't be like, oh, I would never do that. I'm pretty sure that I would. But, I mean, I'd hate to say it, the investment in a VR headset really, for me, kind of just quenched that thirst right there. Okay, let's try and stay on a heading to where we want to go and not wander too much. Boring straight line pony. So I mean, in VR, I'm gonna say, and it's actually really tricky to record in VR without buying third-party software. But in VR, and we're not in VR, by the way, it's almost like having the cockpit. So, you know, it's, why do I need to set up a physical cockpit in my living room or my den, you know, and it's up to you. But for me, I'm just saying VR works just fine. So I'm just going to go to the outside view and lay off the rudder pedals a little bit and adjust the trim. We're just going to show you the outside here, the little egg plane. Well, a little egg plane. Yeah, the little 500C. And it's like a little egg with a tail, especially with the yellow and white livery. So let's kind of go down here. This version does actually come with a version on floats. And I'm going to say that I've flown that one. And I was pretty impressed. I was pretty impressed with the version on floats. We're headed to Victorville, Pony. And you're off by a little bit. So this does have a version of floats, but seeing as how we're flying over the desert, we would only need floats if we were going to land in, like, Big Bear Lake. Not a whole lot of water out here in the California high desert. It's a desert. Alright. So I'm flying nice and low because I want to see the scenery. And I want to see how things load. See if we get any stuttering or skipping or even a crash. And if we get a crash, well, then that's how this video is going to end. And I'm going to post it like that. So I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty satisfied. I'm pretty pleased with this scenery and with the live weather and the way the graphics are just kind of rolling. And again, I mean, a little bit of extra heat coming from my PC that's sitting here next to me, but that's to be expected. So, I mean, it's nicer. It's definitely nicer. And we'll see how well the InBuilds 2020 airport loads in that I just dragged over from one folder to the next. Because, well, you know, if you've seen some of my videos, you know that that's another one of my major airports that I like to fly out of. And, well, we'll just see how compatible it is with 2024. And you get to see it with me for the first time. See if it even loads in with the whole airplane graveyard and the salvage yard that is Victorville Airport. I mean, I'm really liking this graphics out here. The desert, the hills, the houses. And this, by the way, is all just stock Asobo graphics. Victorville Airport is going to be the actual add-on. And we're stalling her out a little bit, or we're just rolling the cyclic a little bit too far. So, maybe a little bit of trim. Yup. Don't do that. So, flying this 500C or 500E or whatever model it is, it's the Hughes 500. It's not the McDonnell Douglas. Who, well, they bought Hughes and then Boeing bought them. You know, the big fish eats the little fish, eats the little fish, eats the little fish. Even if the little fish was once a big fish. That's just the world of business, right? Alright. So, pretty much on course. Victorville should be coming up shortly. And we're going about 100 knots, right? What is little nav map telling me in its own little nav map window? It's saying 108 knots at 4,155 feet. And our gauges tell us about the same thing. So that's good. So we know that the sim is checking out properly with its programming. Now, again, I'm just saying here that this is pretty smooth, and I have flown. You've seen it. If you go back in my videos, you go back and you check out the other videos on my channel, you'll see that I've flown the Cohen Sim 500, which is the MD 500, and that does port over nice from Flight Simulator 2020. But one of the claims of 2024 is that it has improved flight dynamics with an improved flight model, and that would be fun to see because, well, in 2020 the flight model is, well, so you're coming from someone who's never actually flown an actual airplane, so you'd say, well, what do you know about the difference in the flight model? Well, so you kind of have a valid point there if that's your question, but I'm gonna say that comparing the two flight models between the two aircraft or between the two sims, this definitely, if I drop the collective, which I've done a couple of little tests on my own, but I'd actually like to finish the video without crashing. This kind of floats a little bit on the way down, and maybe that's just how the 500 was, or is, because there's still plenty of these babes flying out there in the air. Alright, so we are headed to Victorville, which should be, oh, sorry, looking at little nav map. Right right about that direction. So about 29 degrees to 30 degrees. Out here in the middle of the desert. Now, if you wanted a really long video, I could take this thing and fly it to Vegas, but I got this feeling that a lot of people don't want to watch a 2 or 3 hour flight video. So we are flying faster than the Cessna 172. And, I mean, this is actually a zippy little helicopter. This is not a slow little thing. And I really am pushing her just because so those buildings up ahead, that should be the airport. And you gotta forgive me if I'm not using the external view too much. I'm trying to work out some sound issues here between the sim and, well, they're not really issues, they're just settings. But they're issues on my end. So because if I wasn't making a flight sim video, I mean, I wouldn't care about, are the engines louder than the mic, or is the mic louder than the airplane? Can you hear any of the airplane whatsoever, or the helicopter? Because I'd just be enjoying myself flight simming. Which I still am, as I make this video for all you guys. So I'm pretty impressed for what I'm seeing here, and I'm hoping to see, as I see what looks like it's loading and off in the distance, I'm hoping to see a sea of airplanes and not double runways, and something like what I got in 2020 with Victorville. And we'll just see how much of it loads in. Alright, so the windmills should be animated. They are in 2020. And I do have the settings set pretty high for 2024. So maybe the closer we get, they'll start to rotate. Or not. It's all the little things, you know? It really is all the little things. Oh yeah, so you know, one of the cool things about 2024 is that we get animals. So you can go back to my Hughes, or not my Hughes, but my Huey video with the Aramoti cats, and no, I wasn't on any substances. I was just thought it was hilarious. And it turns out those weren't Aramoti cats, they were cows. Okay, so the windmills are animated the closer we get, and that's pretty cool. And let's not crash into them. I don't think we can crash into them. And up ahead here is Victorville. So again, this helicopter flies really smoothly, and you're saying, well, why aren't you focusing? I'm focusing on all three, really. It's the total experience. Now, I mean, the fact that the scenery is slowly loading in as we come along. Well, again, remember, everyone and every pony, it's a simulation. And you're going to have a honkin' massive video card if you want everything to just load in automatically. Alright, I'm seeing a sea of airplanes out there. And it's looking good from far away. Well, let's see what took. So, I'm not seeing any nameplates or anything. Let's do it from a lower view. I'm not seeing nameplates of live players, so it looks like I won't be making any live players grumpy if I check this out. Alright, well, this, everyone, is a huge improvement over the stock Victorville scenery. Alright. Looks like it loaded in most of it. Without too many issues. Well, that's pretty good. And so I really can't, point a finger at Asobo for this, because this is third-party scenery. And it's not intended for use in 2024. Now, I don't know if InBuilds has made a 2024 version, and I would probably buy it. You just hear those cash register sounds in my head in the background there. Oh. A consumer said he would give me money. Yep. If it's good, I'm willing to pay for it. If I can afford it. So you gotta make it affordable. Alright, so I'm pretty impressed so far with how all this is looking. It's much better than what you get by default. And say, well, have you been, Pony, to see what the actual airport looks like? And here's a fun fact. No, I haven't. And yes, I could drive out here, but I don't think they're going to let me out on the parking apron. Just, hey, you want to wander around the airport and look at things? Oh, yeah, that sounds great. Yeah, it sounds like an insurance problem there. A huge insurance risk if something happens. Or I might be out there to steal parts off an airplane, right? So I don't think that, Pony's going to be allowed to just mindlessly wander around the airport to compare it to a sim. And we're like, really? Who's this guy? What's he thinking? Oh, can I come and wander around your parking apron? The answer to that, my friend, is no. Okay, so yeah, I'm pretty impressed. I'm liking the way, little glitch there. I'm pretty impressed at how this is all loaded in. As I just kind of hover over. See? Just hovering over the airport. Of all these planes, they're going to cut into little pieces and try and part out. Okay, and there's their little hangar that you could, well, we can go park it there. But for the most part, this is pretty impressive. And I'm gonna say, so if you weren't in a helicopter, the only, the only bonus this would have for you would be taxiing in for, what, the 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes? of taxiing in, and just maybe the aesthetics of flying over the airport. So if you really don't care about that, then, you know, why spend your money on it? But maybe if it's a place you're gonna, be going in and out of for a while, or maybe you just have it. Maybe you're just a well-to-do individual, and you just have it. Ah, double windsocks. Well, I could see that. I didn't delete the stock airport. I don't think you can. But, the airplane graveyard or salvage yard here is, that's looking pretty good. I've been spending most of my flying time in Japan, and I haven't been spending too much time here in California or the United States. So I guess that would be the other thing to think about when you're purchasing add-on scenery at, I don't know, $25, $30, whatever, is, how often are you going to use it? And then the other question is going to be, will it survive all of the updates? Which should be a lesson to anyone who is flight simming in 2020 or does flight sim in 2020. See, that's pretty cool. And we got all the cowls out there. Sorry, that's my ADHD. That's what I probably have anyways. So, would you really spend that just for one time? And how much of that are you gonna spend? Because stuff like food, rent, mortgage, car insurance, whatever other bills you have in life, those are important too. But Pony can't tell you what to spend your money on. Spend it on what makes you happy as long as it doesn't hurt you. That's my philosophy, anyways. This pony guy, this weird pony brony flight simming guy, he sure gets awful preachy sometimes. Well, just giving you some insights into the things that Pony thinks. So, more often back to the point, I'm pretty impressed with this helicopter. It's working pretty well. And, what is it? It's like $39 or something like that. $35, $32, I don't remember. But I could see it as something that I would be flying a lot. In the sim, as long as it survives all of the sim updates, because it flies pretty smooth. And it does give you the military variant too, which has a different instrument panel, and it has miniguns, and it has liveries, and if you're the livery master, then, well, I'm gonna say you could make all the custom liveries you want, but it's got some nice custom liveries on it. I think I've said this in other videos that I would much rather spend my time flying than spending my free time on my days off making liveries. And spending all day making liveries, or all week or all month. So, as much fun as they are, and as nice it is to say, oh, look, I did that. No, I didn't do this one. Right? This one came with the aircraft. Or, oh, how nice it is, because maybe you're an actual pilot, and you're like, well, I want one that looks just like mine. I want to be able to fly my helicopter, my plane in the simulator. And hey, I get that. You know, that's some people do that. And so then you'd be willing to pay for it. And people will make you one. Oh, there's the taxi ribbon. Hey, we're not going to use that today. And again, I'm going to say, I thought I had that turned off. So it just constantly keeps turning itself on in flight assist. So there's a glitch in the sim. Alright. Well, we're going to bring this down and park it wherever I want. Because again, it's a sim. So what does it matter? It's not like the FAA is gonna, you know, suspend my license because I didn't fly right. But again, I do like to kind of be courteous of other simmers and other players in live player mode. Yeah, you just keep staring there, buddy. I'm gonna report this guy. Well, I don't have a registration on my helicopter, so you can't report me to the virtual FAA. Alright, landing light on, just for giggles. And let's bring her in gently. Gently, pony. That's about as gentle as pony's gonna get today. And there we are, and we're down and on the ground. So, fun little aircraft, and I've just proven that 2 of my add-ons work pretty well for 2024, which, to be honest with you, is gonna want to make me fly the sim more. Oh, turn the ignition off, pony. There we go. Alright, so that's gonna pretty much end our flight here. So, Teog's Hangar, this is a guy who, you know, he made the Huey in for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, which can also be flown on 2024. And, well, we're not going to turn the battery off just yet. So, this is another one of his aircraft, and it's pretty impressive. You can open the doors. Yeah. While we're on the ground, let's just kind of see some of the stock views that it gives. Shift 1, Shift 2, Shift 4, Shift 5. Was just looking up to the blades. Shift 6, I don't know why we need that. 7, 8, 9, 0. So 9 and 0 are usually the front-facing ones. And I just made that Alt 1. Alright. So blades are spinning down. And I guess now we could turn off the battery because we turned off all of our lights. So turn the battery off. That should. Well, that's not the battery. That's why. There's the battery. I'm like, why does it still sound like it's on? Because it is. Like some of these new push-button cars. Oh, wow. We're not talking about cars. We're talking about the sim. So, there you have it. You can get this on the marketplace in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. And, well, maybe you don't like the sunny side up egg livery without a registration, but I like it. It's just yellow and white. It's kind of nice with black. It does come with the floats, and maybe I'll make another video soon with it on the floats. Quick video just to show you what it looks like. Much better than it would in 2020 with the Cohensim one, but that's not really Cohensim's fault. So, nice helicopter. I'm glad my Sooner is working in 2024. And if we continue on this trend, well, then I might be flying in 2024 just a little bit more. So, as always, to everyone and every pony, if you like what you saw here today, feel free to like, subscribe, and share my videos. And if you don't like what you saw, well, you can still feel free to like it and share it. You don't have to. But I don't see why you would if you don't like it. But to all my viewers, everyone and every pony, of course, you guys make this channel happen. You make it that, I want to keep doing these videos. So, thank you for watching Derp Your Hooves. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the skies.